6ix9ine won't survive being locked up, and here's why.
Conquered the whole Europe, South America, Africa. We conquered. I blew up.
With the recent reports of Tekashi 6ix9ine's situation in prison, it appears that the rapper is in for some even worse times ahead. Welcome to Lime Report, and today we're going to discuss everything you need to know about 6ix9ine's current situation. So make sure to stay until the end to be all caught up on the rapper's case. Also, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and comment keyword Treyway for a chance to win our $100 Amazon gift card giveaway. Now, here's what's going down with 6ix9ine. Tekashi's arrest. While 6ix9ine was known as someone who frequently broke the law, his actions usually never resulted in serious consequences. However, after the string of crimes the rapper decided to commit last year, Tekashi seems to have dug his own grave this time around. On November 18, 2018, the rapper was charged with racketeering, conspiracy, and other federal charges that were actually felonies. With that said, the sentence is being looked at in a much more serious way, raising the chances of Tekashi not only looking at jail time, but ending up in the slammer for good. At the time of his arrest, Tekashi was not alone, as the rapper was caught with his regular crew of men who were running operations in many different areas of New York. In order to expand their operation and territory, the group resorted to commit racketeering, which is the biggest charge that Tekashi currently faces. Eventually, their operation grew so large that they got onto the radar of the FBI. After realizing how substantial their business was becoming, the Federal Bureau of Investigations made them a prime target. Also, after witnessing the rise of Tekashi 6ix9ine, the Bureau realized that they could use the rapper to take down the rest of the operation. With that said, they went to work for several months putting a case together against 6ix9ine. Thanks to the rapper's extensive record, it didn't take long for the Bureau to issue a warrant for his arrest, which took place in November. The rapper was also charged with possession of a firearm for use of maintaining his illegal business. This was one of the main conspiracy charges placed against him, as the weapon was confirmed to be used during business arrangements. Whether Tekashi used it for intimidation or to actually rid one of his competitors is still unclear. But regardless, it surely doesn't help his case, though it hasn't been announced that the rapper has been charged officially with murder. To be charged with conspiracy to commit violent actions with an illegal firearm is just as bad. Quite possibly the worst charge you can get without actually pulling the trigger. Unfortunately, Tekashi and his associates made certain to flaunt their excessive stashes of illegal narcotics and firearms on social media. This stupid decision is the defining factor in the case against 6ix9ine, as the rapper basically submitted the evidence against himself. With that said, the attorney's office maintains all of the leverage, as the question of whether or not Tekashi committed the crimes isn't the issue, but how many times he committed these acts and who he did them with. From what was said, the group appears to defend their actions by stating that it was the only way to demonstrate their superiority to their rivals. Though this proved to be resourceful, perhaps the gang should have stuck to sending the pictures personally rather than posting them for the whole world to see. It was this decision that got the attention of the FBI rather than the rival gang members. This was the last straw that crumbled Tekashi's case, as the rapper was out of options before they were even presented to him. With that said, there was only one chip 6ix9ine has yet to play: snitching. To many people's surprise, the Treyway rapper decided that he wasn't prepared to face the sentences before him. Seeing how the charges consisted of racketeering and conspiracy, the jail time was stacking up to the maximum sentence. With the possibility of life behind bars on the table, Tekashi wasted no time in agreeing to assist the attorney's office, officially becoming a snitch in the process. Though his open cooperation with the FBI may seem shocking, the announcement made in February of this year is anything but. After just considering the possibility of life in jail is enough to make anyone fight for their freedom. However, the line didn't end there with 6ix9ine. While the rapper was dealing with threats from the attorney's office, he was facing an even greater danger of being set free. Due to his gang associations, his homecoming wouldn't be all too welcoming. Thanks to his multiple affiliations, there are an endless amount of people who would be affected by the rapper's incarceration, or even worse, testimony against them. With that said, his list of enemies tripled in a very short amount of time, receiving threats from his former friends and even greater threats from his rivals. So, without even mentioning jail time, Tekashi will have to rely on the FBI simply to survive, as the only thing more dangerous than being wanted is being a rat. Now, while taking the plea deal is definitely the right way to go, it still seems like a bittersweet situation for the Treyway rapper. Though he will certainly be facing less jail time thanks to his informing, Tekashi will be sacrificing more than he can imagine with this decision. Besides the obvious losses like the trust of his companions and the respect of his peers, 6ix9ine also has the unique situation of being a celebrity during his trial. While we see celebrities in the courtroom all the time, none of their cases are ever as serious as this. with the only example coming to mind being O.J. Simpson. We don't often see famous people facing serious sentences, which is why the trial of Tekashi is that much more terrifying. When it came to O.J., his case was one of a kind. The star running back known as The Juice was also the suspect of a homicide. Although he didn't have any gang associations, the athlete was looking at a life sentence as well. As most people know by now, O.J. was acquitted in what turned out to be the trial of the century. Thanks to small inconsistencies like the size of the gloves used during the crime and the location of O.J.'s whereabouts, the case was dismissed. This, accompanied by the fact that O.J. was still a beloved athlete during the time of his trial. It's no wonder how the Juice was able to outrun the attorney's office. Unfortunately, this doesn't seem to be the case for the Treyway rapper, who has not only admitted to his crimes, but has already formed hatred from the public. In situations like these, we've come to find that the general public is one of, if not the biggest contributing factor to most celebrity court cases. This has been proven countless times before, as juries have shown to make the more popular decisions rather than the right one. While this may seem selfish and wrong, one must take into consideration the dangers of being a juror of a celebrity trial. As demonstrated in the hit FX miniseries, The People vs. O.J., we saw the brutal treatment of the jurors involved with O.J.'s case, forced to live in a hotel for weeks at a time and usually unable to contact the outside world. It's almost as if the jurors are the real prisoners during the trial. With this in mind, certain precedents and procedures have been set in place when dealing with celebrity trials. Thanks to previous fails such as O.J., Casey Anthony, and George Zimmerman, the attorney's office has designed a format to make sure no court proceedings can be affected, regardless of how large the celebrity. This has basically predetermined 6ix9ine's fate, as the rapper won't be able to rely on his fans for this one. And seeing how quick the rapper announced his agreement to assist the FBI shows that they weren't playing around and could care less about who Tekashi was. With that said, this leads us to the agreement itself, which brings us to the final topic, the plea deal. In order for you to understand how Tekashi ended up in such a rough spot, there's a simple way to do that. Listen to his music. During a genre defined by artists being law-breaking gangsters, it's hard to break past the stereotype. Though many manage to shatter the glass ceiling, others have not been as lucky or creative for that matter. After seeing the success of artists like Drake, J. Cole, and Kendrick Lamar, it's been confirmed that the bad guy persona is no longer required to sell albums. Unfortunately, no one told 6ix9ine that, who has literally made a career out of his criminal behavior and bragging about it. While the news of 6ix9ine snitching may come as a surprise to most, fans of his music saw this coming a long time ago, as the rapper explicitly talks about his extensive criminal career along with his multiple gang ties and laws he's broken. Now, it's one thing for rappers to sing about committing heinous acts, but when it turns out the acts they sang about have actually been done, it's a whole different story, as this puts everything the rapper has ever sung about under the spotlight, which usually comes back to haunt artists who have released heavily incriminating songs against themselves when they first start up in order to build a rep and fan base. For the most part, the sole responsibility falls on the rapper. As previously stated, many have made a career without having to snitch on themselves. Not to mention, the case of Tekashi is actually a massive milestone for the FBI, as this indicates the beginning of the end for gangster rap and those who choose to participate in the genre. Though the rap game was built on gangster rap, we have witnessed the evolution of the genre as it has become more mainstream and one of the most profitable music industries today. Even the rappers who came up during the golden age of gangster rap have accommodated their actions to fit in with society, toning down their talks of drugs and violence and focusing on how to better their communities. With idols such as Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, and Snoop Dogg to look up to, future rappers are shown that even if you change your persona, your fans will still love you if you stay real. The three rappers mentioned were all massive figures in the gangster rap industry, spending the peak of their careers at war with the law, even glorifying the ongoing battle between rappers and police by profiting off of tracks made about the topic. But as times changed, the music did with it, and that brings us to where we are now. It's this evolution of the genre that makes rappers like Tekashi obsolete, showing that the actions of violent criminals and lawbreakers are not to be admired. Instead, giving a spotlight to artists who take time creating extraordinary beats and songs unlike any heard before. It's artists like Kanye West and Drake who have paved the day for modern-day rap by highlighting their skills in singing and beat-making. Rather than release a simple beat and track that speaks about their criminal behavior, we now hear songs about artists who travel the world and actually experience life. With that said, the upcoming months are all that's left to decide how Tekashi will experience the rest of his life. What do you think of the rapper's case? Do you believe 6ix9ine will spend life behind bars? Let us know in the comment section below, and make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment keyword Treyway for a chance to win our $100 Amazon gift card giveaway. Also, make sure to stay tuned to see the future content we'll have in store for you.
For all the accomplished channel people, first of all, make sure y'all always subscribe to my channel. Leave this in. Wait.